Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you on here, and I hope you guys can try these mandalas and have a fun time doing it. So before we get started on the mandala design, I'm going to explain our tools. So the tools I use are color-coded, so they have a color on the top of the tools. When you buy them off of Temu or Amazon, they usually just come clear. So first off, for the twirly tools, I do not use the green twirly for any of my tutorials, so you can set this one aside. As for the rods, the largest two rods, I, again, also do not use for any of my tutorials, but if you're doing like a bigger project on your own time, then of course you can use these. So now to help you understand what I have color-coded, you can lay them out biggest to smallest. The biggest one, which is the green one, next size down, we have it marked as the blue stick. And then next size down after the blue is the white stick. After the white stick, it's the yellow stick. And then we have the pink stick. And then last but not least, trying to pick them up, is the black stick. And then of course we have the twirlies. These are self-explanatory. They are color-coded already. You can color code them yourself. We use just nail polish on the tops of the tools. We can get started with the design now. For today's class, we're going to be using this color palette. Paint color number 1 is Craft Smart White. Paint color number 2 is Craft Smart Multi-Surface Red. Paint color number 3 is Craft Smart Green. And then two separate colors you're going to need is just a black paint color and then a orange paint color. I'm using this one, Craft Smart Orange. So before we get started on the ornaments, we're going to practice making some snowflakes. So obviously we're going to be using white paint on the ornaments, but since I'm doing this on white paper, I'm going to use the red to show you. So we're going to use the black stick, the pink stylus, and you guys should have like this little needle tool that my mom came around and gave you. So you're going to start with the black stick, dipping it into the paint, and then place a dot. Then with the pink stylus, smaller end, using that paint, you're going to drag out 6 small points from that main middle dot. And if you run out of paint in the center, you can dip your tool into the paint to add a little bit more, so you have enough to continue dragging. Once you have those 6 points, using the little needle tool, you're going to drag out a little bit of paint from each of those points, 4 on each point. Again, if you don't have enough paint, you can dip your tool into the paint. So these are a little tricky to get good at, but you know, not two snowflakes are the same, so that's okay if they're different or not perfect, because neither are real snowflakes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on the red ornament first. we're going to do the snowman. And we're using the palette with just 3 colors. We're gonna use the white stick and the yellow stick. And of course, using paint color 1, the white paint, starting with the white stick. We're doing the bigger portion of the snowman first, and we're doing 8 snowmen. So I like to do it kind of 1 and then 1 over here. And you want to get nice and close to the edge of the ornament because these snowmen are going to be pretty tall and we still want to have a little bit of a design in the middle of our ornament. So just placing 8 dots around the brim of the ornament. So 4 like this, and then 1 in each of those gaps.
Zach already messed it up. Which is the one that you use to clean it, or just wipe this?
What, the ornament?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yes, the Q-tip.
Okay.
And then you use the yellow stick for the heads of the ornament of the snowman. Just placing it right above, nice and close, but not touching the first dot we placed for the snowman.
You use the same stick?
No, the yellow stick. Okay, next we're going to do that center design in the middle of all the snowmen. We're gonna use the yellow stick with paint color 1, and we're just gonna put this first dot on the black dot that's on your ornament. And I was just eyeballing the center, so if you feel like it needs to move a little bit, then you put your dot where you think the center is. But that is the ballpark of where the center of the ornament is. Next up, we're gonna use the pink stylus, bigger end, with paint color 2. And we're going to start the first row of dots. So what I like to do to make sure they stay symmetrical, we're gonna place 4 guiding dots. So 1 dot, and then another dot right across from that one. Then you're gonna find the center of those 2, bring it to the side like that, and then 1 more across from that one, so that we get these 4 dots, north, south, west, east. And then in each of these gaps in between the dots, we're gonna place 2 dots. So that should leave you with 12 dots around your middle circle.
Shoot, my dots are too big.
Okay, next up, we're gonna use the pink stylus, bigger end, with paint color 3. And we are gonna put these dots above the gaps of our previous row. So not straight above the dots like this, but above the in-betweens. So again, you should end up with 12 of these dots. Next step, we're going to use the pink stylus, bigger end, with paint color 1, and basically doing that same thing, placing these dots above the gaps of our previous row. For the next row, you're going to use the white stylus, bigger end, with paint color 2. And same thing, putting these dots above the gaps. Next up, we're going to use the blue stylus, bigger end, with paint color 3. And again, putting these dots above the gaps. Next step, we're going to use the black stick with paint color 1. Again, putting the dots above the gaps. And then the next row is going to be the same thing, just with paint color 2.
With what color?
2. So the next step, we're going to make the snowflakes that are in between the snowmen. We're going to use paint color 1, and we're going to use, again, the black stick, pink stylus, and our little needle tool. once again, using the black stick first, you're going to place a dot just right in between the snowman. Then using the pink stylus smaller end, going to drag out 6 points. And then with the little needle tool, drag out some more paint on each of those little . So going back to our ornament with the snowmen, now that our snowmen are dry, we can go over with the little details. The first thing we're gonna do are the little scarves for the snowmen. So you guys are gonna use paint colors 2 and 3 and just kind of alternate colors. You're gonna use the pink stylus, smaller end. And the way I like to do it is you kind of do a drag like this towards the neck, and then one above it like that, and then just one on this side like this to kind of close off that scarf. Yes, smaller end. Another way you can kind of think of it is if you look at the snowman sideways, it's like almost like a Y. So if you want to think of it that way to kind of help you form the scarf. Okay, next step, we're going to do the little buttons and eyes for the snowman. So we're gonna use the smaller end, and you should have a separate container of black paint, so we're gonna use that. So smaller end, so just 3 little black dots for the buttons, and then 2 dots on the head for the eyes.
Is this
And
for pink stylus?
yes, smaller end. And make sure you leave room below the eyes for a little carrot nose. So don't put it right in the middle of that face. Once you finish the eyes and the buttons, we're gonna do the little carrot nose. My mom passed out an extra palette. You guys are gonna use the orange color in that palette for the noses. Still using the smaller end of the pink stylus, and you're just going to start right below the eyes, right in between them, and then just kind of drag it out a little bit to make a little carrot nose. And then for final little touch to this ornament, you can use the pink stylus smaller end and just place little white dots around just to kind of fill in those gaps, kind of like falling snow. And just like that, we are all done. So you guys can take your time to finish up. But once you guys are completely done, we have some different colored strings on the table with the palettes that you can cut to your desired length and add to your ornaments. But yeah, other than that, we are done.